weather, the fall weather. I hope so, because this is a video about fall eyeshadow palettes. So I'm feeling real fall today. I've got like the cranberry shirt on. I've got the orangey, browny, purpley stuff going on my face. Like the leaves have fallen. Let me tell you something. Growing up in South Central LA, I didn't experience fall. You know, all I knew about fall was like that's when school started after summer. So it wasn't until I moved to Missouri for graduate school that I experienced fall. And first of all, I feel like they need to give an extra stipend to people who come from California, because we all, there was like 2 of us, popped up there not knowing what to wear. Like, I didn't know my little JCPenney jacket wasn't gonna do nothing during the winter. Why didn't nobody tell me? Anyway, the first time I saw the leaves change, yes, the first time I saw the leaves change, I was like 22. Was that 21 or 22? I had just turned 22. Was in grad school, and I ran outside and had the mailman take a picture of me. Then, like, now I'm used to the seasons, kind of. And, you know, living in the mid-Atlantic, the DMV, we do get the fall foliage and all of that stuff. And when I first moved into my place, I was like, who is supposed to clean up these leaves? That wasn't on, like, the agreement, the mortgage thing. So cut to me going to Home Depot to buy a rake and like leaf bags or something. I don't understand. But now, thankfully, the grounds folks come and like blow them away or something. Am I supposed to get a leaf blower? I don't understand. Anyway, what I do understand is that I have quite a few eyeshadows that are very much fall themed, fall inspired. I know most of us wear our shadows whenever, however, whatever, but I figured that I would jump on the bandwagon of talking about fall-ish, fall inspired eyeshadow palettes. So the first one is pretty new to me, and that is the Nomad Hudson Valley eyeshadow palette. Now, this one is literally described as like a fall-inspired, fall theme eyeshadow palette based on Hudson Valley. I've heard that it's gorgeous in the fall. Never been there. I don't know. But Jan, my friend on here, she said it was pretty. And I would say also that the shades here are very much fall, not only just the tone, but also the names. So we've got things like Fall Festival, Great Pumpkin Patch, Corn Maze, Foliage Trail. Like, it's all very fall themed. And this is my second Nomad palette. The other one I have is Cartagena Mágica, but this is the first one that I purchased myself. The other one was gifted to me by Dion from Dion Loves Makeup. But I saw this and I saw folks doing looks with it, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta have it. I love it. It's just such a gorgeous palette. I find the shimmers to be a really impactful, and also the mattes are super easy to use. You can dip your brush in and you immediately have like intense pigment. So I can really appreciate that, especially being of a darker complexion. Everything shows up on me, and I love when that happens. It shouldn't be like a one-time thing, right? But it is. So this is definitely a fall palette, and I saw that they are soon going to be having a sale. And so maybe you want to grab this, you know? Maybe. Oh, also take note that each of their eyeshadow palettes have like an oil in them, like rosehip oil or all these other oils. You can read on their website what palette has what, so just be mindful of that, because if you're using these and the eyeshadow has some sort of oil that you're sensitive to, just like be on the lookout, okay? Bolo. So that's my only Nomad palette. Let's move on to Viseart. Now, the first one I thought of for Viseart is this Dark Edit palette. Like, first of all, I love the packaging. I like that it's really compact, and I love the outer packaging color. It does come with a little mirror, and then here are the shades here. Now, I find that a lot of these are very much fall. When I think of fall, the California in me just thinks of like leaves, and like leaves on the ground. And this is what I see when I walk outside to go to my car. I see these colors. So to me, that means fall. I don't know if I see this one right here, but all the other ones I definitely see. So to me, this is a fall palette. Now this does have 4 shimmers, and then the rest of the palette is matte. And I like that it's just very deep and dark. I mean, I guess dark edit. And the shades have a lot of pigment. I would say that Viseart is good for like blending, or I'm sorry, building things up. So you might not get that punch right off the bat, but I will say that these are shades that are very easy to work with. I do like them. In the packaging, their newer packaging, it's also really easy to pop these shades out and rearrange them, or kind of like mix and match palettes if you have others that are of this size. So there is the dark edit. Now I think, because I'm smart, that the dark edit is the edited version of the dark matte palette. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just like made that up, but I think I'm right. And the dark matte palette, of course, it is a bigger palette and it's all matte, but very much similar color story, larger pans, of course, all matte formula. I feel like this is such a great companion palette, especially with these fall colors. So you can grab any shimmer or anything else and just grab this palette and you can really make a fall look out of it. So I really enjoyed this. Let me hold this one up with the dark edit so that you can see. Y'all know I be struggling holding up more than one thing at a time. But here is the dark edit and then the dark matte. And these are just like, I think they're just pretty. Like, I feel like these are solid palettes. And especially if I want an all matte look, oftentimes I'm pulling out some of my Viseart palettes because I feel like their mattes are just solid, really good go-to palettes. Now, let's move on to Natasha Denona, my homegirl, right? So the first palette that I thought of is the larger Sunset palette. Now, this to me, again, just like screams fall. Like it's fall in a palette, right? You've got the yellows, the oranges, the reds, all of these colors that again to me seem very fall inspired. Like, I mean, of course there are sunsets like year round for most places, but like this just screams like summer into fall for me. Just that time. Have you ever just seen like a breathtakingly beautiful sunset? These are all the colors there. And I feel like this is just very fall, along with the midi-sized sunrise. I always get them confused. Sunset, sunrise, sun salutation. So again, kind of similar to Sunset. I mean, they have the same sort of color story. Let me pop this one open. I know I can't hold two things at once. There we go. So I feel like these are very like bright fall colors. I feel like the sunrise and sunset are like the fall pastel of my palette. So whenever I pull one of these out, it does feel like they go with the fall themes, the warmth of fall, because they are pretty warm palettes. I feel like they're kind of the shades that I would wear if I were just like, I only want fall colors. Alright, now, the one that I'm not, I guess I am kind of surprised by, but Melt Cosmetics they have a lot of fall themed palettes. I was going through my palettes and I'm like, wow, like Melt is just always giving fall vibes. The first one is the Amor y Mariposas palette. This is such a beautiful palette. Is it? Oh, this is on my eyes. Look at these shades. I do feel like this can be like a very year-round palette. Like I could see doing some looks for spring and summer, but it just feels very fall themed. The shades are beautiful. I love this row. This third row here is probably my favorite, just because of the shades there. I love this orange right here. It's very impactful, but I also like the greens, and I'm not a huge green eyeshadow person. I'm becoming more into them, but this to me definitely is like leaves on the ground, right? And what I like about this palette too is that the pans are magnetic, so you can pop them out, which I find to be really helpful for when I want to do my makeup at work. If I just want to grab a couple of these shades and put them into a little magnetic like palette or something, pretty easy. And I know that I'm going to get like I can get a really dramatic but pretty look with it. Now, sticking with Melt, I feel like I would be remiss to not talk about the Gemini palette. So I did not buy the Gemini when it first came out. I bought it on the relaunch or whatever this year, I think. So I have Gemini and Gemini 2. Gemini, the original, feels like your quintessential fall palette. You've got these sort of dusty, grungy greens, and then you've got the orangey browns and like mustardy yellow shades. I feel like this is just, yeah. It literally has like leaves and flowers like embossed on it. So obviously that means it's for fall, right? I also kind of think the Gemini 2 is another fall palette. Yes, we could say that it's more of like your romantic around like the Valentine's Single Awareness Day, but I also feel like it's pretty fall. Like I could see wearing some of these shades at like a fall wedding or something. Is anybody getting married? I feel like everybody gets married in the fall, but I could definitely see these kind of like deep maroony, like rose tones along with the greens. I don't quite understand why the greens are there with these other shades. Like I'd be fine with this right here. Yeah, I'd be fine with this. And then, you know, I have the Gemini to like go with it. But yeah, these are definitely fall. Now, another one from Melt is their Rust palette. Now, I actually haven't pulled this one out in a while, but I do like it. I actually like this much better than the Mary Jane palette. When I put the Mary Jane palette on, it really just looks like I took some dirt from a potted plant and just put it all over my eyes. Now, I think it's just because of the tones of the shades. Like, I've seen people do some gorgeous looks with that palette, but on me, girlfriend, it's like, no. It's like a hard no. Just don't do it. So I had to declutter that one. But I really do like the Rust palette. Again, it just gives me that fall vibes kind of thing. Honestly, I think if a palette has a yellow or an orange, I'm going to say that it's fall. Which brings me to the last one, which is the 27 palette from Melt. Again, it's got an orange, it's got a brown, it's for fall. I really like this one because it's a little bit lighter than the Rust palette. So I like this palette for like more of my daytime kind of work fall vibes. And then I really feel like you can deepen things up really well with the Rust palette. I kind of find that for a lot of Melt products, you can do some really deep, dark colors. Now, that was my first round of like fall kind of palettes. If you want me to do another one, I'm sure that there are more fall palettes that I have, or maybe even like lip products or something. That could be a good one, right? Like fall lippies. I mean, I'm serving you with this one. This is like I just ate a pumpkin and had some hot chocolate with a little bit of vodka in it. So let me know some of your fall palettes that you plan on using, because we still got some time in fall. There's still some weeks left in it, although it's getting cold. So soon we'll be doing winter palettes. Anyways, it is so good to be back. I'm not excited about being back at work, but I am excited about being back and interacting with you all lovely 20 people who decide to watch me. I really, really appreciate you. Hopefully some of this was helpful. Hope you're taking care of yourself. I already feel the necessity to like schedule another massage. Yeah, the stress is already coming back. That's what happens, though. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.